Time. Okay, we are live for MasterMind. Tim, we missed you this year at the conference.
Yes, I missed you guys too.
But
yeah,
I'm assuming that you're going to be in Singapore next year.
I think I can make it. Yeah, that one should be okay.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to see how many airline miles I can accumulate between now and then. I've been able to go to all these conferences because for a number of years I had accumulated a huge amount of airline miles flying around doing, not graphic facilitation per se, but that ODI illustration stuff I do.
Okay.
And so I had, but after I took my wife to Hawaii earlier this year and got tickets for the conference, I'm busted. I don't have any more miles left.
Right. Well, that happens. Yeah, I missed this year. Singapore's a good place. We're gonna have a meeting in 2 weeks, an organizing committee kind of introduction meeting, and start looking at what needs to happen, and what we need to do with the team and different things. Yeah.
Do you,
Let the conversation rolling.
do you have a venue selected for next year, or are you still jostling around that?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, there's plenty of great venues here. It's just figuring out what's going to be the best one, and the best price, and all that. The most conducive for the kind of work we do. Yeah, there's some really cool venues, but the good ones are very expensive. So we'll put our heads together and figure it out. Yeah, Singapore is there's a lot of meetings that happen here. I mean, so it's a good place for business. That's why. But yeah, a lot of regional meetings and big events, whatever, different size. It all happens. Yeah, what happens in Singapore? Yeah.
So the two breakout sessions that really worked for me this year was one by Janelle King, where she was talking about how to make the transition from freelancing to an in-house position.
Yeah, right. That sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, she talked a lot about, she had been working with that particular company for a while, but when she was talking to the people there, it wasn't a matter of just saying, well, this is what I can do. She was really into the whole philosophy of what she does.
Right.
I think that's what really sold her to the management.
Uh-huh.
So I'll try to take that as a clue. There's a couple of conglomerates here in Tacoma that I wouldn't mind working for full time. Uh-huh. But to be honest with you, I haven't worked full time in house for anyone since 1985. Mm. I just don't know how my freelance mentality would make the transition. But I don't think that should hold me back, that concern. Mm. And the other breakout session that really was helpful was the one that talked about what to do with your maps after the fact.
Oh, by Lisa Aurora.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those both sounded good. I mean, well, I was breakout. Oh, well, it's too bad there's not more people on the call, because then that gives them more.
Yeah, it'd be more nuanced and a little bit more deep
discussion and stuff.
Yeah, I think a part of it is everyone's still out on vacation. Also, I'm trying to expand out this group from just the 13 current members to more folks. And earlier this week, I had sent an invite out to this drawing session called Epic Sketch Time. And a lot of people signed up for that. And I'm wondering if they're thinking that maybe I'm sending the same invite out. But do a lot of online things like this.
That's cool.
How about you? How much of your work is dealing with people online like this?
None.
Really?
Yeah, but I'd like to learn how to do it because I think there can be more opportunities there that don't involve traveling, right? If you're just listening to the conference or whatever, or it's a web conference or.
Yeah, I have one client trying to. He and I have worked out a package where I would be listening in on customer interaction,
Mm-hmm.
and then doing a sketch note of the interaction. And he seems to think there would be value behind that. Also, you're doing a really long survey with a person about an issue. They can get very distracted or bored. I mean, if it goes on for longer than 30 minutes, being on a teleconference call and just answering questions.
Mm-hmm.
But as of yet, he's yet to pull the trigger on that. He got client approval on some projects when he submitted them, but as of yet, the end client hasn't pulled the trigger on the contract. So until they send him the first check, he's not doing anything.
Right. Okay.
What project are you working on right now?
Various things. I mean,
how did your book go? I know you were working on something there.
Still working, but I guess the progress has been intermittent. Yeah. That's a laughter of familiarity, or what?
Oh yes, very much so. The book that I was working on,
progressing, but it's it
got completely backburnered by clients' needs. I got a bunch of emergency turnaround work over the summer. One really big project that hit last month that kept me busy solid for a couple of weeks. One of the largest whiteboards I ever did. And then, I got this client that just calls spontaneously asking for emergency storyboards. And he wants to start spreading my name around to other people, other writers, to do more storyboards. But I don't want to be known as the guy that turns away clients when they're in need, So
okay.
Just having this one guy handing me emergency projects enough. If I suddenly got like 5 clients handing me emergency projects all the time, it'd be a little manic.
All right.
But
so you've had a few emergency whiteboard projects.
Actually, these were just the emergency ones were storyboards.
Okay.
I get one of my clients. He works for a conglomerate, and he's a writer there, and he does their in-house newsletter, and it goes out internationally. And so he'll get a call from his boss saying, "Hey, the manager at the Atlanta branch in wherever, they're doing this. Write up a story about it and send a photographer to get a picture." So he then has to come up with sort of like a theme for the photographer. He has to, first of all, find a photographer that's in the area, arrange a date for the photographer and the manager to meet either on site or on location with the end client that the guy's working with, and then talk to me about, okay, what can we do at this photo shoot? I started doing this for him, about 4 years ago when he was complaining of how every time he sent a photographer out to get a photo, he got back the same photo of, a bunch of people lined up in front of a branch with the logo behind them, and they're all looking scared with their arms crossed in front of them like they're going to die.
Yeah.
So I asked him, hey, what would you like the shot to look like? And he said, oh, I'd like them to be standing like this, and a person doing this, and I'd like the logo to be at an angle. So I drew a picture of it and I sent to him and said, wow, this is great. This is exactly what I want. And I said, yeah, that's a storyboard. Can I hire you to do this? I said, yeah, I'm available. And the next thing you know, he's handing me like, 2 or 3 a week. So.
Okay.
And so when I was in Atlanta, not Atlanta, DC, he had to use another friend of mine, a guy named Sam Day, who's fantastic artist, just superb. And he managed to do a job for him while I was gone. So he wasn't completely left in the lurch. I just had a fantastic time in DC. I took my wife with me.
Oh, nice.
Spent a couple days enjoying the city, had dinner out with some of the attendees. Some really unique Ethiopian food. And I think I bought my weight in Neuland Markers.
You bought your weight in Northern Markers.
Well, I spent about almost $100 because I didn't. All the markers I had were Pantone markers from when I first started my career, several decades ago, when people still did felt tip comps rather than doing comp layouts on the computer. Before that ever happened, you would do it with felt pens.
Mm-hmm.
And well, most of those had dried out, and I finally just tossed the rest. And of course, the moment I toss all those and all my felt marker holders, which have been just sitting in a box in the closet for years, suddenly I learned about graphic facilitation and kind of going, oh man, why did I toss all that stuff away? I need it now. So I'm kind of curious. When I met you in Pittsburgh, you'd actually brought along your toolkit and you were showing it off.
Toolkit?
Didn't you bring a toolkit with you to Pittsburgh? Am I thinking of somebody else?
Maybe you're thinking of somebody else. I don't remember bringing. I mean, I might have brought a handful of like 6 markers or something, just because I knew we would be doing. There's opportunities to stand up and do a chart. Also, I attended in Pittsburgh. There was a pre-con, which was called GR 201 with Peter Duran. So I figured I would bring some markers for that day, before there's everything else is set up.
Okay, now
all I brought was a bag with maybe a handful of marker, the Neuland markers I bought the year before at Hawaii. Well,
let's see.
Not much. I don't think it was very fancy though.
I am looking through my sketch notes to see who was in charge, who was giving that presentation. Oh man, I didn't write down who it was. But I was wondering, do you use any of the felt pads and the pastel wipes, or are you strictly a marker guy?
Felt pads and pastel wipes?
Yeah, you know how they've got these little dishes, and they've got like a dry color powdered in them.
And pastel.
A sponge and wipe it across the board to get a sort of like a nice smooth fade.
And pastel.
I think it's pastel.
And pastel.
And pastel, yeah.
Yeah, I use that.
Oh, you do?
Not all the time. Sometimes I.
Now, do you apply it after the fact, or do you apply it just to kind of get some broad areas going ahead of time?
Well, I've seen it done both ways. I think Lisa Aurora.
Yeah.
I've seen her do stuff where she would make a few patches, like bubbles, yellow bubbles or something, circular bubbles, and then that's anticipating what's going to be discussed. She'll use that, and then right on top of those yellow pastel bubbles. So she would do it before. I've seen that, but I've never done it that way. I've always added it afterwards as a color.
Yeah.
So when I do that, I've got to go around the text, so it looks a little bit patchy, I guess. Because if you go over the text, then you got to go back and remarker that text because it will get covered by the
kind of blurred out then, or
Yeah.
just the color will disrupt
yeah,
it.
it'll get powdery. Yeah. So I use it afterwards usually. Depends on what you're doing. If it's for facilitation, you could prepare a chart ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's 10 people in a room, you might imagine 10 people doing an introduction. And so make 10 little areas, color bubbles or something. Actually, yeah, that'd be a good way to use it. In that way. Yeah.
I was also wondering if you've taken any Luke's courses.
Any Luke's courses?
Yeah.
What's that?
Or like
guess not.
online university courses from other graphic facilitators?
Online? No, I haven't. I've taken a couple courses of the Alpha Chimp University.
Oh, yeah.
That one,
Yeah, I haven't checked them out yet. How do you like them?
yeah, it's good. It's like a community mentorship call. You have, something like this with maybe 6 or 8 other people on the call, and at the time, Peter and then Diane, when they were still together, they would sort of take turns hosting that hour or that session, and they would have an outline. I think it was like 10 weeks or I can't remember. So an outline of something they're going to talk about and go into and share some case studies and some learning and some content. But then they're also asking people, what are your experiences or questions or issues? And so you get this kind of community mentorship dialogue going about it, which, yeah, I found very useful. Yeah. Because they've been doing it, about as long as anybody. And so they have that sense of, knowledge and experience and stuff to learn, stuff to share. Yeah, it's helpful. Yeah. I'm looking to develop more into facilitation.
You are.
Yeah, because that's stuff I've done in the past before I discovered this this world of visual facilitation, visual work that we all know and love now. But before that, I used to do team building, lots of team building and creative thinking programs, and part of these team building or trainings was a lot of brainstorming, some facilitated discussions on a change type of process. So, I have a bit of background in that, but not really the kind that that says here, I'm ready to lead this kind of session. But I have it takes, more practice to have that confidence to lead a senior level discussion. But I have the context of that. So that's something I want to develop more of. So that's one thing I'm looking at is, are there some online resources for learning about facilitation, graphic facilitation? Because that's something new here in Singapore. Now in Singapore, there's a lot more practitioners are coming up. Next year the conference is here, so in Asia it's really booming. Whereas, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I had the luxury of very little competition. Put it that way. It was a new area. There weren't many people doing it. There was a few of us, and I didn't have to do any marketing, so to speak. I just my marketing was being at an event with a client or a public event, and they see it, and then it turns into a job from someone else. Whereas now it's so much more competitive, and so I need to change what I do in terms of the value add and our branding and the work we do. So that's why a book, I'm wanting to do more speaking and training,
Right.
At business events on the value of visual thinking as a leadership tool for storytelling, whatever. I mean, all this stuff, it's all there. And then also part of that is facilitation for business events.
I've worked with
Yeah.
a number of facilitators. One guy named Lance Bedingfield. Am I recording? Or do you have the window up? Where it's broadcasting at?
Huh? I have a window. Yeah, I see you. What do you mean?
I mean on. You see how my voice is repeating? That's
Your voice is repeating.
Yeah, well, it's repeating over on this side.
Oh,
And typically that means have something up on the internet, like you might have broadcast on the internet page.
I don't understand. Is this something I'm doing?
Well, do you have aside from this Hangout window? Well, hold on. Echo. Okay, it's not happening anymore. I was closing down windows on my end, so maybe it was all my fault.
Okay.
Apologies. I'm going to get a book I want to show you real quick.
Okay.
So some years ago, I met this guy named Tony Ulrich, and he ran a company called Strategen.
Uh-huh.
And his facilitators dragged me around as an illustrator to, I must have done like 30 facilitations with that group all over the country.
Right.
And he would have various teams of facilitators helping him out. And so I got to learn a bunch of different styles from a bunch of different facilitators.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys who had his act together more than anything else was a guy named Lance Betancourt. And he wrote this book called Service Innovation.
Okay.
You know, how to go from customer needs to breakthroughs. And it's a fantastic read.
Okay.
If you haven't had a chance, read Tony Ulrich's book, What Customers Want. And Ulrich is spelled up. He did the forward for this thing.
Okay.
Both of those are fantastic books. They have wonderful methodologies as far as how to question. These guys do brainstorming sessions, but it's targeted brainstorming in that they figure out the right questions to ask the customer and the customer's end clientele before they go into the brainstorming system, so that, you know, a lot of time you'll go into a brainstorming session and the client is resistant, saying, no, we can't do it that way. But if you show them the numbers saying, hey, yes, you can, and these are unmet needs, and your customers are saying these are unmet needs, and it's a great way for you to figure out how to define a job to a client, how to get them to understand how those jobs could be fulfilled in a new way so that, you know, new business services and features could be added on. And watching this guy work is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the facilitation, now I think I could go into any room and facilitate a meeting because I've watched all these guys do it like dozens of times.
Okay.
But yeah, that's well worth a read. There's another gal who was another facilitator with them, and her name was Sandy Bates, and she's got a book too. And I'm looking around my office trying to see where I can find it. And I haven't read it yet because I'm still working on Lance's book. So because it's not an easy read. It's one you have to kind of chew through,
Uh-huh.
Well, it's not like a light and fluffy read. You got all these methodologies. You kind of want to commit them to memory.
Right.
And if I hadn't seen them in action myself, it would even be a tougher read.
Right. Okay.
I did a whiteboard for him earlier this year. He started this company called Lift PhD, which was he has a warehouse of people that he knows that have PhDs in various fields. And let's say you're a starting company and you're in an incubator and you don't know who to contact to, what PhD do you need to hire?
Mm-hmm.
You go to him and he, after a brief questioning, he'd recommend a PhD to, help you out with whatever you need.
Okay.
But he just accepted a job at a university to teach at a university, so I'm not sure how much time he's going to be spending on it. I need to talk to his partner, Rob Shade, who was also one of the facilitators for Stratogen, and see what he's up to.
This is Tony Ulwick, you said?
Yeah, Tony Ulwick was the owner of Stratogen. He's still in charge of Stratogen.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the facilitators that worked with him, I think 10 years ago, have kind of branched out on their own and are doing, how you always want to do something new after a while?
Yeah.
So a lot of these people have branched out, like Sandy Bates was doing her own thing, but now I think she's been hired by the Marine Corps to do facilitation. And let's see, Landscape got hired by a college, so I'm running out of facilitators to work with, So I'm like you. I'm starting to think, well, maybe I need to start facilitating on my own, but that's a whole another kettle of fish. You have to do a lot of front loading for things like that.
Yeah. I prefer working with a facilitation partner because then, it's just easier to focus on what you're doing with the visual and easier for them to focus on their delivery.
Right.
But then there's oftentimes there's a lady here I work with, and then there's times we switch over where I'll lead something that's more like an idea generating type of thing that has a visual element to it. So like a brainstorming, and get them going with drawing and using markers and stuff. But there's opportunities there, so like smaller groups and things where I could do it on my own. I've done before.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to get more sort of have a little more confidence in that, in more foundation.
Now, when you set up for a room, because I have yet to actually do a graphic recording, I've done sketchnoting, and I've done the ODI illustration, but I haven't done the 2 tripods and the board, and I'm kind of curious how you set things up. I know that you occasionally use a time-lapse camera to capture things.
A time-lapse camera? Yeah? How do you set it up? The boards?
No. I'm getting that echo. How do you set up your board? The room.
Hang on, I've got 2 windows open here. I'm just going to try to close one, Mark, okay?
Okay.
If it disconnects, then we might have to reconnect, but I'm going to try closing. I have There's okay. There, I closed the extra windows. I think it's good.
Test, test, test. Oh, I'm not hearing it anymore. Okay, it's gone. Okay.
I guess it's my thing. How do you set up? I mean, you've not done the big size graphic recording, setting up a wall and all that?
Yeah, I've never done that before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you use 2 tripods and some foam core and a little table by the side, or do you have like a fishing tackle box that you keep at your feet? Do you use it like a sleeve with your pins up here? What's your methodology?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like that. Those are 3 easels. 3 easels, like cheap metal easels. That's one way of doing it, which I really don't prefer that because those metal easels are so flimsy. The ones that I carry, I prefer to have on site, depending on the venue, have them set up if they have like good quality, sturdy wooden or metal easels, like for holding signage at the hotel, depending on where the event is. And then I put a big 4 feet by 8 foot board, and that's a big foam core board, and I just score it twice,
right,
so that I can carry it in a taxi, or in the car. Yeah, I just score it and fold it so it's like 2.5 feet by 4 feet long is the size of that when it's folded together, and that's what I carry. I carry a couple of foam boards and a suitcase with easels and markers, and I have this little Neulich pouch that's like an excellent hip pouch for markers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you can get now. I bought it in UViz before it was launched yet. Yeah, that's it. Have a table at the side with my gear, whatever.
So you like to travel light? Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
There, table. 3 easels, board, and then the paper is on top of the board, with clips or blue tack. I always go to the event. I mean, check with the venue ahead of time to see if there's an option. What do they have here? Options to these, easels might be, like I said, wooden or metal easels that they have on site, or it might be 2 flip chart stands. And I got to make sure that those 2 flip chart stands have a ledge that's of the same height. So basically, the flip chart stands need to be the same kind. Otherwise it's going to be a mess. Or sometimes a big horizontal whiteboard, and I just tape the board onto that whiteboard, and then put the paper on top. So it takes a bit of work doing it that way. And I usually, depending on the event, if it's a full day event, you'll do maybe 4, big 4x8 boards like this. So I try to set up 2, so that you finish one and you go right to the next one, and they're both set up ahead of time. 2 setups like that. Yeah. Or, if you're lucky, the venue might have a nice smooth wall and you don't need to set that up, or they might have a glass wall or a whiteboard wall or something cool, depending on what's the venue like. Then you don't get fuss with the easels and all that. Yeah.
Neuland introduced this new product. It was the version 3 of their Walkabout board.
Walkabout board.
Let's see. Where's the catalog?
I think I've seen it in their catalog, but it's different seeing it there.
Have you seen the video of the prototype that Muddy posted up? Muddy bought the prototype at the DC conference because they brought it there, and it's great. It, like you said, it's got 2 sections so that the panels accordion in.
Oh, yeah.
And when it's like that, it can be like a straight up flip chart board. It's about that size. the legs have a stand comes down, then it's got two branches, and then where my fingers are here, there's two wheels.
Okay.
And this part here, it unlocks at all the joints and then folds up flat against the side
Okay.
of the board. And then where you have the three panels, there's another little rod that comes down with a couple of wheels on it. So with the panels folded in and the two legs folded up and to the side, you can just use that middle rod with the wheels to just wheel and move the thing around real easy.
Okay, nice.
And what's really nice about it is because it is on wheels, you can put a piece of paper on both sides, and then when you're ready to go, you just rotate the thing around.
Oh, yeah, cool. Wow.
So, yeah, everybody was clapping when they saw that. I don't know how much they're going to be charging for it, but...
yeah. Yeah, those are probably expensive.
Apparently, though, they decided that it would be cheaper to sell Muddy, the prototype, rather than hauling it back to Germany. So...
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. What's it called? That's the Neuland board, version 3.
Yeah, that's version 3, and it looks really cool.
I think I've seen it in their book, in their catalog.
I think they had a little sketch in their catalog, at least the last one I had. But it looks, the 3 panels, what they have is they have these bars, hollow tube bars, that slide in and lock on both the top and the bottom to keep it nice and firm.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then they, when they slide those out and they flip it together, there are these little bungee cords that wrap around the top and the bottom to hold it nice and tight so it doesn't start flipping open. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet. But there's no way I can, when they were breaking down, they had all these leftover tripods, and they're saying, "Hey, Mark, buy some tripods. They're $20 each."
Wow.
And I should have bought some tripods and just paid for the shipping to take them home. Just, check them into baggage. But I didn't even think that. I said, "Oh no, I can't fit them in my bag because I bought all these markers and books, and there's no way I could fit it." I should have thought about, taping them together and buying them. Now I'm really regretting because how often can you buy some really nice tripods for $20 each?
You mean the easels?
Pardon me, yeah, the easels, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen, yeah, that's true. They're expensive. Good ones are expensive. I have one good one, but it's expensive. I have like 10 cheap ones because we've needed them for big events where you have multiple breakout rooms.
Right.
You got to have all that stuff, but they're cheap and they're kind of a hassle to set up, and they're wobbly.
Yeah, I've got a couple of cheap ones in the other room, and after seeing what the nice ones are like, I'm kind of going, oh man,
yeah, it's such a difference.
Yeah, what do I invest in now?
Here's a little hack I made for this thing. I mean, these boards, I fold them together.
Right.
I usually carry 2 boards, plus I carry an extra section of them, which I insert behind it to reinforce at the corners, or I put it at the back to give it some stability on those easels. So I put all that, and I wrap it in a big plastic ground sheet, wrap it in a plastic ground sheet, and then I take a couple of those bungee cords, like you said, and secure it top to bottom, and then put one on the top as a carrying thing. So, that's how I've carried this thing. So it's protected, but it's a hassle because I also make these little corner reinforcements out of a cardboard thing, so it doesn't get the corners bashed. But I want to actually go to somebody who manufactures bags or something, like simple things, and just say, can you do something really simple like this? Whatever, out of nylon or canvas or.
I think that Dean I talk to Dean Myers frequently, and he had a bag made for him, or he found a bag that was perfect for that situation. I'll have to ask him next time I see him what he's using.
Okay.
But he's found, yeah, he found his bag to be. He said he loves his bag.
Mm.
At least he dislikes hauling the stuff around a little less because it's all nice and protected in the bag.
Yeah.
Well, sir, I got to go because it's time for me to head out the door and pick up my wife at the park and ride.
Okay.
You have a good morning. I hope you enjoyed the day in Singapore. Hope it's not going to broil you too much.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, look forward to hearing more. Hearing and sharing more next time. Yeah, I appreciate you using
I'll
this.
see what I can do about getting some more people in here. I know that some folks at the conference were very interested in, so maybe I just have to pump it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess so. Some reminders. Okay.
See you then.
All right, take care. Cheers.